Today's topic is choose a task list system. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at what that means for you and for your computer. So choosing a task list system is one of the first things that you want to do in dealing with your digital office. A task list system will allow you to capture all those little bitty things that you need to do throughout the day. Because we are definitely human doings, sometimes more than human beings, as my dad would say. And capturing the things that we actually need to accomplish in an organized and reliable way is very important. So for many of you, you may use your task list as finding them when you receive an email. That might trigger a task. Or you might have an appointment scheduled. That might trigger a task. And whether you're using Outlook or whether you're using Gmail, I'm going to go over some options to further drill down capturing tasks that you can, uh, so that you can get the things done that you want to get done. So the first thing that we want to talk about in choosing a good task list system, um, I'm going to talk specifically about Outlook tasks and Google tasks and how they work within those two ecosystems. There's also Apple Reminders that can be a very reliable task system. And then there are other task managers like ClickUps or Asana, HubSpot. I used to use one called ToodleDo. There's Todoist. There's a ton of them out there. And what really matters, here's some guidelines that I offer, and this is in this blog post for this particular game space. One, you have to be able to easily access it from your phone, your computer, and your tablet so that you can capture the tasks as you think about them. Because our brains are designed for thinking through things, not necessarily holding them. So you want to capture that task when you get it. And your task manager should have these four elements. You want to have a title, so you know what to name your task. You want a due date so that you know when you need to be reminded of this task. And that's usually how I use a due date, um, because often the tasks that we need to do can't all happen in one sitting. So maybe I want to be reminded of something I need to prepare for an appointment a couple days before the actual appointment. I also like your task management to have a tagging system so that you can prioritize and organize your various tasks. And this one here, this generous note field, this is essential because you may have a dozen things that you need to be aware of before you can do the task, and you want to have a place to capture them so that you're not looking all over your digital world for the information you need to complete the task. In this game space, I also go into more details about managing your task system. But for today, I just want to dig into the easy task managers that come with both Outlook and Google. We're going to start here with Outlook. Outlook has a task manager, and if you're using the web-based version of Outlook, you have your task bar. You can turn it on, and it's this little guy up here called My Day. And when you turn him on, he'll show you your tasks, and you can also see a little snippet of your calendar. So that's super, super useful in this Outlook system here. Um, when we go to the to-dos, we have our list of what we need to accomplish. One drawback of the Outlook Task Manager is that when you click on the task, you can't actually jump to its bigger details, which is super obnoxious. And someday I imagine they'll will change it. But what you can do is you can click this Manage All Tasks down here in the lower right corner, and it will open up a new tab to a full page of the tasks that you have in your Outlook situation. Once you're on this page, you can click a task and it will open its details. So here, this particular task is research a glitch for client A. It's a very common task that I do in my business. And in this task, you've got your option to be reminded about it and a due date. So here, this reminder will give you like a notification in your email system saying, "Hey, think about this right now," as well as a due date. So we can decide whether or not we want it to do today, tomorrow, next week, or you can do your date picker here. You can also choose a category if you want. So it's got that categorization situation. I tend not to do a whole lot of categories in my tasks because I really just need to do them. Also, here is the note field for your Outlook tasks, and you can put whatever you need in. So maybe I'm going through this task. I need to research this glitch, and it's taking a while. I can say, well, maybe I need to check the DNS. There is a client glitch that I have been aware of that involves the DNS, which is super, detailed and techy and somewhat obnoxious. But I can put notes for whatever it is that helps me finish and complete this task. And someday I'll actually spell things correctly. Luckily, we've got the little line, the easy specifics. There we go. Luckily, we got the red line that will help me spell the word with. So once I enter my notes for a task, they will remain there for as long as I need them. The fun thing about this task management system in Outlook, another fun thing, is that you can add an email to your task. So let's say here that I want to take advantage of this lovely little sale here from Ann Taylor. I can click and drag this email over here and it will create a copy of a link to that particular email and add a title and whatnot in the task. Now, unfortunately, again, I can edit just the title, not any of the details in this field. But I can change this title from this box and I can go to manage tasks and do more detailed um, organizing of this task. I can set a due date here. Let's say I want to deal with that on Monday. And then maybe I want to tell myself to look at their sale here. We've got that email and I can click open that email in Outlook and it will come up. The nice thing too is this particular task manager. If you go to the App Store on your phone, whether iPhone or Android, and look up the Outlook app, or I think it's actually Microsoft Tasks. It has its own app on that you can put on your phone so that you can easily add more tasks to that app. The other thing that this app, this task manager does is you can flag an email. So let's say we want to flag this little Twitter email. Eventually, that flagged email will go into the task list under flagged emails. So that's here. So if you wanted something, you just want to flag it. It doesn't necessarily need to be a full-blown task in the task list. You can flag it and it will show up here as well. You can also decide whether or not you want to, close it or complete it or however. You can also click on this and add it to my day and that will put it up here. So let's say that you're going through your task list and you decide, okay, I need to design the logo today. I need to shop at Ann Taylor today. And it will go in this My Day section. So that is a quick rundown on how the tasks work in Outlook. It's also available to you on your Outlook calendar. So here as we go to the Outlook calendar, you'll be able to see some of the tasks there by putting um, this little task guy. You open him and you can decide, okay, what does my calendar look like? What does my calendar say as to when I can go ahead and shop at Ann Taylor? I can decide, okay, I want to do this right after my lunch on Tuesday. And there we've created a calendar entry based on this particular task. So it's a really cool tool. So that is a quick rundown of the Outlook Task Manager. Now let's take a look at the one that is offered through Gmail, through Google. Google also has a task manager. It has some things that are better than the Outlook ones, and it has some things that are less cool than the Outlook one. So we're going to start with our email view. In our email view, on the right-hand side here, we have this little bar that has a calendar, Google Keep, Google Tasks, and contacts. These are the ones I have chosen to put on. I can choose others by clicking on these add-ons. this particular little bar, if you don't see this in your Google, it might be hiding. So in this lower right-hand corner, if I were to close that, I'll get this little sneaky guy that'll sort of pop out when I hover my mouse over it in the lower right corner. When I click on it, then that little bar will come up and it should have, I think it starts out having the tasks and the Google Keep, and then you have to add the calendar possibly. But it is customizable. So I'm going to click on tasks because that's what we're dealing with today with the tasks. Here's the list of the tasks that we have in Google. Now, the difference with Google and Outlook is that from this particular view here, you can hit the little pencil and you'll see all of your details. Look at inbox, strategies, and tell them about, and of course I don't spell strategies right because, that's just not how I do it. I think it's with an E. See what we can do to make the little red line go away. We can put our notes here in this note box. We can also change the date that we want to look at that task. We can set it on a repeating schedule. I believe the Outlook one allows you to do a repeating schedule as well, whether or not if you want to deal with this weekly or once a day or not repeated at all. The other thing that you can do within this is you could have subtasks. So let's say I have to research this glitch for client A and I might need to look at email, and maybe it's also something that I need to look at files. So you can have these little subtasks to do. So you say, okay, well, I looked at that, I looked at that, and we can really break down our tasks and our to-dos in that manner. So that's a very cool thing as far as how tasks work in Gmail. In Gmail as well, you can choose your email. So let's say I wanted to evaluate this ClickUps, which is another task manager. It's one that I'm using currently. And if you're wanting something more robust than this Outlook and Gmail task managers, maybe check out ClickUps. But as I select this email, I can go over here and add it to my tasks, and it will plop itself right here with a nice handy little link to that email. So now that I have added it to my task, I can go ahead and archive the email. I believe that if I delete the email, it'll go away from here and I won't ever have access to it again, but archiving it will have it remain in my Google ecosystem. That same strategy would be used for Outlook as well. If you archive, you can still retrieve the email. If you delete it, it's gone. So now this ClickUp here, I've created a task, but I didn't give it a date. So it's in this list here. I'm going to just go ahead and click that, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to deal with that on Monday. I generally set all of my tasks for Monday when I can actually, set aside time to think about that. And we'll go over here. So on Monday, it looks like I'm going to look at this ClickUp things. I'm going to look at my newsletter. I'm going to look at my weekly rhythm. On tasks, I always have a weekly rhythm. Every Monday, I look through my tasks and see what I've got going on and see what I can actually do for the week because I'm only one person and I can only do so much. So next on the Google Calendar, it also has this task field. And notice here, this task bar, this bar along here, as I said, it is customizable. Notice that the calendar one, I just have Google Keep and Google Tasks, whereas the email one, I have calendar and contacts as well. And you can customize this bar with a variety of things. It's somewhat limited, but still a bit useful. So with Google, this is the other neat thing about Google is here we've got any of your tasks, if they have a date and time on them, they will automatically show up in your calendar. I think that we can probably do the same sort of scheduling by dragging it to a specific time on your calendar, and that will put a time in the task. And it will show up on your calendar all neat and tidy so that you can do stuff. One thing that I believe it will not do is if you have your calendar connected to an automatic scheduler, it will not block out this time. So that's something to be aware of as you go about scheduling your tasks. If your task does not have a time with it, but it does have a date, it'll go up here at the top and consider itself kind of an all-day task. Now, let's say you're going about your day and you're like, I don't want to even look at all my tasks right now. You can go ahead and hide that, and you can turn off this task because your calendar is here. Your tasks are in this calendar labeled tasks, which you can turn on and off. So that's how Gmail and Outlook both deal with tasks. Thank you all for joining me, and until next time, I will see you all about the internet.